and today we will begin our adventure right here outside of Palm Bay, Florida. And I am on my way to a location known as The Compound. It's a failed neighborhood that never came to be. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Hitch, Hiking, Yeti here. Welcome to The Compound. As you can see right here behind me, this here is what's left of some of the streets here in this area. And there is some wildness going on here because I have heard all kinds of stories about this place. But look at this. There is an old, beat to heck bus back here, or camper of some sort. Just kind of just overturned right here in the compound. And I thought I would go ahead and give you a little rundown story about this old defunct neighborhood that just kind of never came to be. All right, so now let's get into the origins of this failed residential development area. The area known locally as The Compound began way back in the 1980s. It was a planned residential subdivision developed by a company called General Development Corporation, also known as GDC. It was part of an expansion that was tied to a larger community here in this very area. GDC pre-plotted thousands of quarter-acre home lots and built roughly 200 miles of paved roads through what was mostly scrub land here in southwest Palm Bay. However, GDC declared for bankruptcy in 1991, halting development. The company had sold many lots by mail order, but never provided the basic utilities like sewer and water. In that way, the home construction never materialized. Following the GDC's bankruptcy, the land was broken up and liquidated. Thousands of individual owners now hold small parcels. The city of Palm Bay owns the paved roads and a small portion of land, probably about 235 to 240 acres. Because infrastructure was never completed, most lots remain vacant and undeveloped. As you can see, it is pretty desolate out here. And just for a minute, I had a little friend show up right down here on this old grown-up street. And it was a deer. He just popped out of the bushes there and was staring at me there for a moment, trying to figure out, what the heck is this guy doing back here? So the modern reputation over the years, the compound became known locally as some sort of abandoned maze of roads. People drive ATVs, dirt bikes, cars. Because it's so remote and largely empty, seems to be a really good spot for that. But this has led to numerous illegal activities, such as off-roading and drag racing, unauthorized trash dumping, which Palm Bay officials repeatedly stress are unlawful. The area has also been the site of violent crime. Tragic incidents have happened here, and even in some instances, discovery of victims' remains. So the compound covers about 2,700 to 2,900 acres, around 12 square miles of pre-plotted out lots and roads. It's sometimes referred to as the grid because it's series of roads. When you're on Google Maps or you're looking at a map, it's all gridded out. And it's also called Street of Patterns or the Palm Bay Maze because of the unmarked and interconnected network of paved streets. So hopefully there's not too much glare, but this is what the street map looks like here on my car. You can see why people would call it the grid. All what you see right there, for the most part, is just roads. Not many homes. There might be some homes off to the far left-hand side, but all this stuff over here is just roads. You can easily get lost back here. I gotta say, I can definitely tell why people would want to come out here and do a little drag racing. Because look how straight the roads are here. And I mean, there is not a soul out here. It is so quiet. Not a whole lot of anything going on. I mean, you can land a plane here probably. So in recent years, the city has explored redevelopment plans to turn parts of the compound into like a commercial or industrial area, you know, to create jobs and things in that nature. The process has been slow due to the fragmented ownership and the infrastructure of this property. Obviously, that's why it never became a neighborhood. But efforts have included seeking out EPA grants and even rebranding the area to shed its negative reputation. So we was talking about landing an airplane out here earlier, but this guy, he's got the right idea. He has a RC plane out here he's flying around. This is the perfect spot to come and do some trick flying, man. He's really good at that. Look at that thing spin around. I hope you guys can see it. Yeah, that's snazzy. Really, really cool. So wild. Right here is another street that is pretty much grown up and abandoned. Some areas of this community looks worse than others. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the bankruptcy of General Development Corporation. In 1991, it was mainly caused by fraud charges, collapsing sales, and massive legal penalties. GDC was one of Florida's largest land developers from the 1950s and 80s. They developed large master plan communities like Port Charlotte and Port St. Lucie. All right, I made it to another location. There was some guys on four-wheelers I seen off in the distance. And I thought we would kind of walk over here and see what kind of trails they were riding on. They're long gone now. I was probably a half a mile away. I could kind of hear them faintly off in the distance. And this right here looks like about the location they were in. So this looks like a really, really good spot to do a little ATVing. Look at that. There's fresh tracks. Yeah, that had to be it. They were flying down through there. I mean, they was hauling the mail. Probably come from that direction. And when I first pulled up, there was a little RC plane buzzing around out here. Real small. It was so small it sounded like a drone. It didn't even sound like a RC plane to me. Very quiet. He must be pretty close by, actually. It is just so dead out here and quiet. Just a little breeze. That's it. So eerie. It's kind of like almost like a apocalyptic type of a feel to it. I say that sometimes when I go to small towns that I go to. Sometimes it's kind of abandoned looking, or a lot of the stores are closed. But this one has that same kind of feel, but just without the buildings. You still got the streets, the paved roads and everything. But yeah. But I think that is going to pretty much do it for me. Really appreciate everyone who tuned in to watch. I hope I was able to explain a little bit of this craziness to you. Up until about a week or two ago, I never even knew about this place. But I knew I was coming back to Florida with my family down here, and I always like to show at least something when I come to Florida. Do a vlog about some kind of a town or abandoned spot. Last video I did while I was down here, I went to the Aerojet facility, the old rocket facility down close to Homestead, Florida. That was an experience. This kind of reminds me of that because it was so far out in the middle of nowhere. But down there you did have old abandoned structures to show off. Here, there is no abandoned structures. Just a lot of abandoned roads and some road signs here and there, but that's pretty much it. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Until next time, I am the hitchhiking Yeti. Y'all stay safe, and I hope to see you all again soon. Man, that's a good straight road. Look at that. Yeah. You could just start right here and just floor it. You would easily hit 100 miles an hour before you got to the other end. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying that some people would do that. And up here's another plane. A lot of planes out here. Real planes, RC planes, all kinds of stuff flying around. It's a good spot for it, though. All right, I'm really done now.